This is why getting low views is actually better for business as a business owner on pretty much any social media platform, and the amount of proof I have for this is genuinely insane here. So first off, I have three main points I'm going to go over. Low views equals better targeting. Point number two is that being specific helps the algorithm find your ideal customer. And number three is specificity lets you charge more for whatever it is that you're selling. Each one of these has subplots, but just to explain it, let me tell you first who this video is for and who this video is not for. This video is for business owners who are looking to understand content better, understand how to make their offer better, and understand how to make their funnel better. If that is not you and those words sound unreal and like you can't fathom that, don't watch this video. Go on my other channel called Dylan Advanced. So now that you know who this video is for, it's for business owners looking to scale. Let me explain why I think this way and how I came to this conclusion. So I have a lot of proof here. I have many different YouTube channels, many different accounts with high levels of success. Let's start with the first thing. Low views equals better targeting. So let me show you this quickly. This is my TikTok, or one of my TikTok accounts. This is not even my main TikTok. This is just one of them, right? I don't know why it's so blurry. Let me get it to focus. If you can't see there, I don't know why it's not focusing. This is actually 100 million views in the last 60 days here. Let me get it to focus. There it is. See, look, 106 million views in the last 60 days. Now, this is very important. My digital product that I just launched is this. It is a school. It's basically taking people who are below where you are right now as a business owner, and basically teaching them from ground zero how to get to owning a business and getting sales. My other business is this Amazon brand that does 6,000 to 8,000 units sold per month. And then here's the whole point that I'm trying to make in this video. So this is the channel that I really market the school with. So I use these videos to market this right here. Now, if you look here, you'll notice that this channel has gotten 28,000 views, long form views in the last 90 days. Once again, let me remind you, this TikTok account that I use to promote the school as well has gotten 100 million views in the last 60 days. So in the last 90 days, I don't even know how many it's gotten. So this is what that tells me. First off, views really aren't a metric that you should look at that deeply. Do they matter? Yes. Is it that important? I would argue no, because that alone will tell you the truth. It is that low views equals better targeting. Now, I have another channel, which I'll show you here, which is Dylan Latham. This is my main YouTube channel. If you look at the views I get here, 2.8 million views, 986,000 views, 981,000 views. So I know I can speak from a high level of authority here in my opinion, because I have gotten millions of views, I've gotten hundreds of millions of views, and I've gotten thousands. And I'm telling you right now, for business purposes, getting lower views tends to work better. So really quickly, let me show you this graph of people who have joined my school community and where they're coming from. If you take a look at this graph here, this is a chart that people fill out after they join. 43% of people have come from TikTok, while 30% have come from YouTube. Now, yes, TikTok is more, but I want you to think about the view discrepancy here. Not only am I getting, I don't even know how many times that viewership is, but the amount of time I've spent on TikTok versus YouTube is unbelievable. I've spent so much more time on TikTok than I have YouTube. Yet YouTube is catching up and will quickly pass TikTok in the amount of people joining my paid community. Now, here's what's even crazier. If you look on my main TikTok channel right here, in the last 60 days, I've gotten, 67 million views. So 167 million views versus 28,000, and these two percentages are pretty close for people who are joining my community. This is very important. Now, when it comes to my #1 best-selling Amazon brand, as you could see when I showed you, we are Amazon's choice. Selling a low-ticket item like this is really good. Yes, don't get me wrong. That's one scenario where getting very large views can be good. But even that, after really looking into my studies and everything, I've seen people with a similar amount of views to me try to launch brands like this and it doesn't work. It is because people did not buy my brand because of the views specifically. They bought because of who I am as a person. They bought because of my personal brand. So let me go back to my talking points here, because this is really important and I don't want to get off topic. So first off, higher conversion rate. lower views. If you get 100 views from ideal buyers, it is worth more than 100,000 views from people who will never purchase. I'm gonna draw a graphic for you, and this might make it seem a little bit like a no-brainer to you, okay? Let's say you need to drink water and you have this river that you're collecting water from. Let me ask you a question. Let's say there's fresh water coming into this river, right? There's fresh water that you can drink. Now, let's say you could have overall more water, but to get more water, you have to add sewage water to your drinking water. Does that make sense? No, not at all. It's because what you are doing when you get large numbers of views, what's happening is you are actually essentially contaminating your viewership. And here's the issue. Much like this waterway right here, once you contaminate it, it is very, very challenging to decontaminate. Let me show you the example with my YouTube channel. So, and by the way, linked in the description, I have a free quiz you can take to understand the bottleneck of your business that's holding you back the most. So if you want that, check that out. But with that being said, look at this. My main YouTube channel, as you can see, millions of views, right? These views are unrelated to the topic of business. Here's why this is a problem. Look at my recent videos. 10,000 views, 6.7K, 115K. This one did pretty good. The point here is that I contaminated my viewership. Now, once again, very hard to undo. These videos on this channel that is almost at 1 million subscribers, by the way, are getting similar numbers of views to these new videos I'm posting on my Dylan Advanced channel, which is not the channel you're watching right now, but a channel that's a little bit more broad. Like, look at this. This video I posted literally, what, June 29th? It's July 22nd. So like very recently, look, 4,000 views. This is a brand new channel. Yet it's getting more views, and the people who are watching this are significantly more likely to buy my community, which is why, as I said before, these percentages here, YouTube is going to overtake TikTok very soon, yet I'm getting literally, what even is that? Like 1%? That's less than 1% of the views I'm getting on YouTube versus here, yet YouTube is going to overtake it. So that's the next. Move on to the next topic here. Less ad spend waste. Organic reach or paid ads targeted towards a niche require less money to convert. So what are the two things that matter in business? The two things that matter in business if you want to be successful are money and time, right? Here's the thing that people don't understand. You think that making content is free. But let's be honest, it is not free. Why? Because it takes your time. So let me ask you this right now. Let's say, by the way, I understand my handwriting is horrible. Let me ask you this question right now, and this will make it once again a no-brainer. If you were running paid ads to your business, let's say $100 a day, and you were getting a lot of people to view it, but no one to buy it, would you keep spending that money every day? If you're smart, the answer is no. This is what you're doing with your time. You're basically spending your time to get views and not buyers. Holy, I'm not even gonna finish writing that. My handwriting is so bad. So you are basically, what you're doing, if you can interchange time and money when it comes to business, because to a degree they're interchangeable. They're basically the same thing. If you spend money, what's happening is you are basically spending time, if that makes sense. So why would you spend money? If you look at it in this frame, you're spending money to not get sales. It doesn't make sense. Okay, number 3, more trust building. Intimate audiences foster higher trust, which is essential for high ticket sales. So if your goal is to sell something that is expensive, that costs a lot of money, you need an intimate audience. You should not be striving to get a broad audience who barely knows you. It just doesn't make sense. Once again, so these are the 3 talking points. That was point number 1. We have 2 more points to go over. So I went over point number 1, which is low views equals, I'm not even gonna write it, I'm just gonna say it, but low views equals better targeting. That's point number 1. The 3 sub points of that is you get higher conversion rates, less ad spend waste, aka the time you spend. If you look at it as ad spend, it makes way more sense. And number 3, you build more trust, okay? All of these 3 things are essential for getting sales. Okay, number 2, being specific helps the algorithm find your ideal customer. Once again, you can look at making content as ads, except instead of spending money, you're spending time. But as I said before, and I hope you agree with this, time pretty much is money. The only 2 things we care about in life is time and money when it comes to business. So you're either saving time or saving money. So being specific, this is point number 2, being specific helps the algorithm find your ideal customer. So platforms reward clear signals. Vagueness confuses the algorithm. Specificity trains it. The thing is, especially when you're starting, being specific will get you less views. So getting low views is actually a sign that you're doing something right to an extent. It doesn't mean that you have to stay at low views forever. I'm not saying that. But at the start, especially if you have a channel that is contaminated, once again, using that water system, if you have a channel that is contaminated, you are going to drop your views the same way that I am on my main channel, because it is hard to decontaminate water. So that's why it's better to just start fresh, okay? But stronger content signals, niche language, and clear topics help YouTube / TikTok / Instagram / any social media platform understand who to push your video to. So the point that I'm trying to make here is what you're doing is, instead of having contaminated water, you're basically just starting it fresh and avoiding the contamination to begin with, okay? Number 2, long-term recommendation. Specific videos keep ranking for the exact same people who need them even months later. I'll give you an example. There's this educational content creator I've been watching who actually owns this platform, Skool, and the place where I sell my low-ticket community, which, by the way, if you own a business, these 2 guides within this community could help you. So if that's the case, you might actually benefit by joining this community. But the owner of this platform actually responded to me when I messaged him. And what's funny about it is he was a YouTube educational creator not too long ago, and he is posting videos from 7 years ago. 7 years ago, and they're still being recommended to me today on my YouTube. Look, you can't make this up. You cannot make this up. First recommended video. Let's see, Sam Ovens, the guy who I watched 7 years ago, 100,000 views. This just proved oh my gosh, that was not planned. You guys saw me open YouTube, right? That was not planned. That literally just reaffirmed my belief to me even more, but also hopefully to you. That is crazy. Look at that. Look, this is so funny because look, you can see, look, 7 years ago, and then the next thing below that, recommended, it was posted 57 minutes ago. So what that should tell you is that YouTube, even if you make a specific video, what's nice about it is years later, it'll still get recommended to your ideal customer. So the difference between YouTube and ads is, like I said, time and money, same thing, right? You're spending your time for a much higher ROI because it lasts for years. Your ideal customer is gonna get those videos for years down the line, rather than just like an ad, where an ad basically stops once you stop putting money in. You put time in one time for YouTube, it lasts years, which basically what that tells me is that's a high leverage opportunity, okay? So then yeah, long-term recommendation. And then number 3, higher watch time. Ideal viewers stick around longer, sending positive feedback to the algorithm. So here's what happens. This is where you get this feedback loop, right? You got a loop here. This is where you get a feedback loop, okay? Here's what's going down, and this part's really interesting to me. What happens is ideal viewers stick around longer, sending positive feedback to the platform. So what this means is, let's say a low quality viewer, I'll use a short line as a low quality viewer. A low quality viewer sees this, instantly clicks off, they leave, right? They get out of there quick. That tells YouTube, don't send it to low quality viewers. Now this long stick, this is a business owner who makes $100,000 a month. They see this and they're like, oh my gosh, I love this. And they start following the path. Start watching your videos. If this is you, YouTube has done its job. If you own a business and you're still here, YouTube has done its job, and what I'm saying is true. So this is you. You are a business owner who is seeing this and like, oh my goodness, this is value. Somebody who is unexperienced is not gonna see this video as valuable, so they're just gonna leave. So the feedback loop is crazy. Now, if one business owner gets stuck in this loop, what happens is YouTube is like, wow. Because YouTube, the goal is to keep people on the platform as long as possible, right? So YouTube is like, oh my goodness, this person who is a business owner really like this. Let me send it to another business owner. Oh, this business owner makes $1 million a month and they like this video as well. They're stuck in the loop just like this other guy. Let's recommend it to another. And then you got this feedback loop going of literally just business owner, business owner, business owner. So your ideal customer is literally going to just like snowball into a point where you are getting, say, hundreds of views. This video might have 100 views right now, But down the line, so long as it hits the right customer, 5 years from now, this video could have 20,000 views, but all 20,000 of those people are business owners who are making more than like say $10,000 a month, which is insane. Insane, think about that, okay? So that's point number 2. Let's go to point number 3 here, and I'm about to do the final send off. This is the grand slam, grand finale. Once again, if you wanna work with me, you can, it's either gonna be a quiz or an application form in the description. I'm not sure yet, we'll see. So number 3, so just to remind you, number 1 is low views equals better targeting. Point number 2 is being specific helps the algorithm find your ideal customer. And point number 3 here, specificity, I'm not gonna write it, once again, horrible handwriting. Specificity lets you charge more, which means, just think about it like this. If you're a business owner and your goal is to figure out YouTube, okay? Your only goal is to figure out YouTube. You wanna understand how you can get sales using YouTube, right? That's your goal. Would you rather work with somebody who's been doing YouTube for 10 years and has never learned about TikTok, Instagram, or anything, or somebody who knows a little bit of TikTok, Instagram, everything, right? You're gonna choose that first person. The second person knows a little bit of everything. So this graphic will help understand. I mean, you probably already understand this, but this person knows a little bit of everything, right? They got a bunch of little energy points. I call these energy points that they're putting out. They got TikTok, they got YouTube, they got Instagram, they got everything. Then you got person number 1, same amount of energy, yet it's all focused energy on YouTube. Which one are you gonna pick if your goal is to specifically learn about YouTube? You're taking this one every day of the week. You're a smart guy or girl, I understand. You know the right answer, okay? So here's why specificity lets you charge more. Number 1, perceived value increases. People buy from value. You've definitely heard this before. People buy value. That's what matters in business. So because perceived value increases, this just happens because you're solving a specific problem. Once again, we can use that graph. Focused energy is worth more than diluted energy, okay? And then, so that's the graph right here. And then you stand out in a crowded market. Look, everybody, most people at least, don't understand like much about a specific thing, so they try to just talk about everything. So once again, they're just diluted energy. The market is full of diluted energy. We'll just use these dots here. This is the market, right? This is the market. They're all trying to teach you about Instagram, TikTok, everything all at once. They're trying to make it all just make sense. Then you come along and you're just this line that's like sitting there that's like just YouTube. What stands out here? The line. People choose the line. And then you have number 3, it's easier to justify premium offers, okay? So if you sell something that's $10,000, once again, if you're solving a specific problem, it justifies that price. Once again, if you want to work with me because you see this video and you're like, this guy knows what he's talking about, well, you're much more likely to do it because as you can see, I have the proof. I have a business that's number 1 on Amazon. I have a school community that I'm growing, and I'm doing now a high ticket offer. So just to reiterate, we have point number 1, low views equals high targeting. Point number 2, being specific helps the algorithm find your ideal customer, creating feedback loops, which then makes it so every video is only hitting ideal customers, aka your time, aka the money you're putting into your ads, which are your YouTube videos, has extremely high leverage. So the more you do this, the more the feedback loop continues, the more leverage you get over time. The number 3, specificity, lets you charge more. My friends, that is why low views will get you more sales on YouTube. If you want to work with me, once again, whatever link is in the description will lead you down the path to hopefully end up working with me. If you're not qualified, I will not work with you. If you are qualified, I will. Oh, by the way, if you're not qualified, if you're somebody who you think you want to work with me, but you're just not there yet, you're going to be guided based on your answers in the quiz or whatever I have to a place that will help you get to where you should be, to where I'm going to help you for free, make money, do this, all whatever. And then once you're sitting there, you actually get to a point where you are qualified because I helped you level up using my free content, then you can work with me. So this is a win-win-win-win-win for everyone. Hopefully this video helped. Stay tuned, subscribe if you like this. If you're a business owner, thank you for watching this all the way through. You just helped me create the feedback loop, which will then pay off in the future.